next to Down South, where the flames are coming up and licking my ass. You know, it's like, yeah, down south there. No, that would be San Francisco. That is fantastic. I am very happy to be back in Seattle, and those of you who have seen me do this before and have come and supported Noir City here in Seattle, and those of you who are members of the Film Noir Foundation that is behind this whole series, you know that we're all about restoring and preserving classic films. But since we started that mission, it's grown to include preserving the film-going experience, the communal nature of the film-going experience as well. And I am also thrilled that Noir City has transitioned into an actual movie theater. I love smelling the popcorn in the lobby for once. So it's like, yes, thank God. You can actually pop it in the house. It's good. And it's just great to see all of you out here, as Clinton said, to see these films in a theater where many of them actually played. I'm staying up the street at the hotel, and they have several pictures in the hotel of the Uptown in the 30s and 40s, and it's like, I was thinking, oh, please, maybe Gilda's playing there or something. That would be awesome. You know, I want to take a picture of it. So it's very exciting, and I thank you all for coming out. We're starting this year's festival with a couple of films that have two things in common. I'm showing these to start off because of the San Francisco connection. Both of these films were shot on location in San Francisco in the late 1940s. Well, Thieves Highway in the late 40s, House on Telegraph Hill in the early 1950s. That is my hometown. These films are very special to me because they're shot in San Francisco. But they also both star an actress named Valentina Cortese. And I want to tell you quickly a little story about Valentina Cortese and how she and the first film you're going to see this evening informed my noir sensibilities, if you will. When I was a teenager, I had my cinema epiphany, if you will, one afternoon when I went to the old Larkin Theater in San Francisco, which is now, of course, a porn theater. Thank God the Uptown is still a theater, because most of those old theaters either become churches or porn theaters. I want you to think about that for a minute. Where humans have their priorities, right? So I went to the Larkin Theater to see a film that was extremely influential on me. Was Francois Truffaut's Day for Night, about the filmmaking process. And if you've seen this film, you know it's a love letter to movie making. And in this film, Valentina Cortese, who was probably in her late 50s or early 60s when that film was made, plays an actress who's kind of losing her memory and she can't remember her lines, and she's very much a prima donna. And she ended up being nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for that role. And there was a memorable occasion at the Oscars that year when Ingrid Bergman won the award for her role in Murder on the Orient Express, and she very rudely got up on stage and said, "Valentina deserves this award." If I was one of the other nominees, I don't know how I would have felt about that. But she did actually deserve that award. And amazingly, that week is when I also saw Thieves Highway for the first time. And to see her suddenly lose all those years and be on screen in her 20s and say, wow, that's the same woman I just saw, you know, in her late 50s, was kind of a revelation to me. And that sort of weird playing with time kind of messed with my head, and I've had it messed with ever since. So I kind of live between these various periods, and it's always fascinating to me to see how people develop and change and talk about their youth and all that. So it was a big deal when we showed these films earlier this year in San Francisco. I tried everything I possibly could to get Valentina Cortese to come to San Francisco. She's still living, she's 88 years old, she lives in Milan. And here is how this all developed. I did the DVD commentary for the second film you'll see tonight, House on Telegraph Hill. That commentary is a little more than a MASH note to this woman. I just waxed rhapsodic about how much I was in love with Valentina Cortese. And wouldn't you know, she actually heard this DVD commentary. And a woman called me up in San Francisco and said, "Hello, Eddie, my name is Alessandra Gallo, and I'm good friends with Valentina, and she wants to know who is this man in San Francisco that is so infatuated with him? And is he good looking?" That was absolutely classic. So we tried to get Valentina to come to San Francisco, and her doctors, damn it, said that she was not able to travel that distance. So then my good friend Nicolas Sada, this film director in Paris, decided that he was going to travel to Milan to interview her. And unfortunately, the day before he was scheduled to do that interview, she took a spill and actually kind of bruised her face. And being the diva that she is, she refused to appear on camera with this damage to her face. So she did not do it. She wrote a beautiful letter that we read in San Francisco, and instead I actually was able to videotape the audience at the Castro Theater wishing her well, and so we sent the video to Milan instead of the other way around. And it was quite a special moment. So as you'll see, Valentina Cortese is a very unique actress. She only made 4 films in the United States, and 2 of them were shot on location in San Francisco. There was this period in Hollywood history when the studios all went crazy for Italian actresses. You know, in the post-war years, they imported Sophia Loren, Gina Lollobrigida, Anna Magnani, and Daryl Zanuck, for some reason, took a shine to Valentina Cortese, who was in actuality a war refugee, but did not fit the profile of the voluptuous Italian earth mother that these other actresses represented. She was a totally different thing, as you will see in these films. Okay, Thieves Highway is the film that sort of inspired me and sent me on my great noir adventure, because I love this story. I love everything about it. I love the politics of this movie. I love what it says about human nature. I love all the performances. If you have not seen this film before, there are incredibly great performances in this, including Lee J. Cobb, who plays the heavy produce broker Mike Figlia. Nobody can tear up a scene like Lee J. Cobb. He is the biggest ham, but he is absolutely great. And if you've seen him in On the Waterfront playing Johnny Friendly, the union boss, Johnny Friendly, this is his warm-up for that role. And he's absolutely fantastic. And Richard Conte, for once, Richard Conte's real name was Nicholas Conte. I don't know why they changed it to Richard in the movies, because he always played guys named Nick. So here he is playing another Nick in this film. It's written by Buzz Bazarides, who is really one of the great screenwriters and has credits on a lot of noir films. Kiss Me Deadly, which a lot of people think is sort of the ultimate noir film, is a Buzz screenplay from Mickey Spillane's novel. Very, very interesting guy. Grew up around the trucking and produce business in Fresno, California. Had a very, very long life. There's been 2 documentary films made about him, The Long Haul of Buzz Bazarides and a film just called Buzz. He was married to screenwriter Sylvia Richards, and they both were very prominent writers in Hollywood during this classic noir era. And Buzz was an amazing character. I have a couple of great Buzz stories that I would love to share with you. I'll keep it somewhat short. Talk to me about it. Some bar somewhere in this neighborhood when I have a drink in my hand. I'll tell you a few classic Buzz stories. How he got involved in a bank robbery ring. That was just incredible. So Thieves Highway is really an amazing film. Jules Dassin, the director. Those of you who maybe you're new to noir and maybe you have seen Rafifi, his great heist film that he made in France. Perhaps you think that he is Jules Dassin from France because he was blacklisted and he actually lived the end of his life in Europe. But he's from New York. He is Julie Dassin from the old neighborhood in New York, an American, not French at all. And this is the next to last picture he made in the United States before he was exiled because he was suspected of being a member of the Communist Party, and like many people who made films in that era, lost his career in Hollywood and ended up working the rest of his life overseas. So thank you. Now I can actually see you all. So, Thieves Highway, this is the one that started it all for me. I absolutely love this film, so I welcome you all to this 5th incarnation of the Noir City Film Festival. Please enjoy yourselves. I'm hanging out all week. I'm here all week. So if you have any questions or anything, or have any willingness to join our efforts to preserve these films, ask me or our lovely host and hostess, Vince and Rosemary, out at our merchandise table. Ask about the Film Noir Foundation, and we will sign you up. Okay, it's time for Valentina.